are Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Fish fans? Welcome to another episode of your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST. My name is Jim GRIES. As always, you can call me Grease. What a day for the Miami Marlins, one of their best wins of the season. Why? Because they beat the team with the second best record in baseball. They beat the team that has been great all year long, offensively, defensively, for crying out loud. They're ahead of the New York Yankees in the American League East. That is right. Your Miami Marlins whooped up on the Baltimore Orioles tonight. Game 1 out of 3 in the MIA. 6-3, the final. Chisholm with a 2-run double. Nick Gordon, 2 RBIs. Jesus Sanchez, a solo shot. The bullpen again lights out. No runs allowed. No runs allowed in 4 2/3 innings. 5 strikeouts. Tanner Scott, great Scott. Save number 17 for Tanner Scott, the best closer in Major League Baseball. I said it. Come at me, bruh. Let's go. Mets would trade Diaz for him right now. Right now. Marlins be idiots to do that. Wouldn't happen. It would not happen. But real quick, before we keep it moving with your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, I want to say thank you. And I thank you for being here every day with me, Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, with Pete, Locked On Marlins. You know what it is. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on the YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And in particular, this episode of your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST is brought to you by Booking.com. Yeah! The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your rivals. That's right. Check out Booking.com for your stay. Today is the greatest day of them all. And look at this right now, right? Locked On Marlins POSTCAST. And I'm looking at the description, and it looks really good right now. Chisholm with a 2-run double. Jesus Sanchez with a solo homer. Nick Gordon, 2 RBIs. They even manufactured a couple of runs. How about that? The Marlins today, right? You got the Orioles took the lead 1-0 in the first inning with Westberg singling and Rochman. And more on Chirinos in a minute. Yanni Chirinos, hopefully never to return again, at least this year, the way he was pitching to the Marlins rotation. But maybe he can get things right, and who knows? They DFA'd him. They designated him for assignment. In the bottom of the second, though, I mean, you got Sanchez with a homer to get him on the board, 430-foot bomb. And then Gordon singles in Lopez, and Chisholm doubles in Edwards and Gordon. The commissioner with a good night tonight, 2 RBIs, right? Orioles got 2 1/3, pulled it within 1 on an O'Hearn RBI single and Kowser's infield single, right? We'll finish up the description a little bit later for you. We just wanted to get on the air. And then, all the scoring in this game was done by the 3rd inning. Both teams' bullpens were freaking lights out. You expect it from the Marlins by this point, and of course you expect it from the Orioles, because you're not ahead of the Yankees in the American League East with the second best record of baseball behind the Phillies if you don't have a great bullpen. So they got to Suarez tonight. You knew he was the guy to get in the rotation, coming in with a 3-2 record. Edwards got a sacrifice fly, scoring Josh Bell. Shout out to my boy. 2 hits tonight. Josh Bell, I say my boy because I'm always on his case and Berger's case, as I should be. I mean, you're hitting 3 and 4 for the Major League team there in Miami, in case you hadn't figured it out. Plus, Gordon grounded out to first. Sanchez scored. Very rare that a run will score on a ground ball to first base. Very, very rare that a ground ball will score a run when it's hit to first base. So, interestingly enough, right? When you hit a ground ball to first base, usually it's hit pretty hard. It's right on the corner. It's a corner infield position, first and third. It takes a lot to score on a play like that. It actually really does. And interestingly enough, in the Marlins win tonight, they manufactured the run. So when you ground out to first, right, and it was with 1 out, right, and then Sanchez struck out swinging. So Gordon grounds out to first and scores Jesus Sanchez. Lopez goes to second. So it was a single by Bell. Sanchez reached on an infield single to short. Bell goes to second, right? So it's a chopper, rangy, and Bell, obviously when Bell gets to second, there's no fielder's choice. He's not a fast runner, so it's one of those plays, right? So then what happens? Lopez with an infield single to third. So Sanchez infield single to shortstop, Lopez infield single to third, and then Gordon grounds out to first to score a run after Edwards sacrifice fly. So you had 2 infield singles and a ground out with a sac fly that scored a run there. So they manufactured runs, they put them together, and And they got the long ball from Sanchez, and you had Chisholm driving in 2 with the dub. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a very good team game for the Marlins. And check this out. I mean, they bring up Tyler, right, from AAA. Kyle Tyler, and Yanni Chirinos goes down. He got ripped yesterday again. But Tyler comes in against one of the better teams in baseball as a young kid, not a lot of experience, and not real great right now. And then what happens? Of course, man, it's batting practice. He's lucky it wasn't target practice. In 4 2/3 innings, he gives up 9 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 94 pitches, man. And, you know, this is a good lineup. They wear you out. The Orioles lineup wears you out. And, you know, you had 2 for 3 for O'Hearn tonight, 2 for 4 for Mountcastle. And just a really good, and Gunnar Henderson 0 for 4. Very rare 0 for Gunnar. I love Gunnar Henderson. That's my dude. And you go from Lindor to Henderson, leadoff guys with power, 2 of the better leadoff men in the game, as a matter of fact, back to back. Like I'm Jordan 96-97. Well, maybe they're not Jordan 96-97, but I could be. And is it all right to quote a Drake song anymore? Is it okay? Because everywhere you go, they not like us. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. Everywhere. And I don't even think Kendrick has a good voice, but it's such a catchy song. Everywhere Drake goes, every game, everywhere, he's going to hear that song for the rest of his life. Anyway, I digress. Well, maybe I don't digress, though. I just like watching Rick Ross get punched by fat, giant white dudes in Canada. But anyway, both bullpens were great today. The Orioles with their 4 guys, they were unbelievable. They pitched 6 innings of relief today in back of Suarez, who gave up 6 earned runs on 8 hits. The Marlins blistered him in 2 innings, and then they went scoreless. They gave up only 2 hits the rest of the way, striking out 6. Interestingly enough, they were outdone by the Marlins bullpen. Hoying came in and threw 1 pitch. That was dope. Third of an inning, got the out, right? Nardi, a scoreless inning, 2 strikeouts. Puck, 2 scoreless innings, 3 strikeouts. The lefty, great Scott, 2 strikeouts in 1 scoreless inning. So in case you need me to add that up for you, that is 4 1/3 innings of yeoman-like work by this bullpen again. And the Orioles did 6 innings. So maybe saying that the Marlins outdid the Orioles is a little strong, but in 4 2/3, they struck out 7. And how about Tyler striking out 5 in 4 2/3 quietly with Munoz, Cabrera, Tyler? You're starting to see some things for the future here out of this pitching staff. And remember, you got Max Meyer, who's, you know, a high draft pick that he was, and then Alcantara, who was your ace and had the Tommy John surgery a year ago. So when you think about what this team has coming back, I say it every day. I scream it from the mountaintops, even though we're at sea level. Yeah, that works, right? But maybe I'll put a message in a bottle. Whatever I have to do, don't trade anyone. Don't trade anyone. Don't trade anyone who pitches for a living. What just fell? What was that? I just think that was one of the LED lights off the side, man. The studio's been a little bugged out lately. You know what I'm saying? You get the hurricane season, you get the humidity and the barometric pressure, and sometimes things just start. I don't even know what's going on around here. But I will say this, man. The Miami Marlins know how to win some games. They can put some things together. They've been really good against good teams. Like they've played the Phillies tough this year. You know what I'm saying? They've split with the Mets, and the Mets are a good team. They're in the wild card race. They won a series against Milwaukee, a first-place team. They won a series against the Diamondbacks, right in the race for the wild card. They've played the good teams pretty well this year. They didn't play well against the Dodgers, but who has? Man, it's messed up what the Dodgers just did do with all those pitchers coming back, cutting guys who are going like 8-3, 8-4 for them. It's a cruel business. Going to end up with a job elsewhere. But good Lord, you don't want to be dealing with that too often. But Hoying, Nardi, Puck, and Scott. A 1 pitch out for Hoying. Nardi an inning, Puck 2 innings, Tanner Scott 1 inning. 2 strikeouts, 3 strikeouts, 2, going on top of Tyler's 5. So Hoying, Nardi, Puck, Scott 4 2/3, 5 strikeouts, no walks, no hits. No hits and no walks. 5 strikeouts in 4 2/3. And they did it in the middle game against the Mets, too. It was a 4-game series. In the second game and the third game, 2 sets of relievers did it against the Mets. The Nardi Puck grouping did it, and then you had the Brazaban, and you got Chargois and Fauché. They've all been pitching great, man. And it's nice to see. So, again, message in a bottle. Whatever you got to do, man. The Pony Express. That'll work at sea level. You know what I'm saying? Just tell Paul Revere to go on booking.com and let's go. Because you got to get the message to the Marlins brass somehow. Do not trade anybody from the pitching staff. Now, I don't want to see him trade Jazz Chisholm. I don't think they're going to get a lot for DLC, Bell, Berger, any of those guys. Jazz Chisholm's probably your most valuable piece right now besides Tanner Scott, because Luzardo and Weathers, if they were still pitching well, they'd be, everybody needs left-handed pitching. Everybody needs pitching. Except the Dodgers, man. They got Glasnow coming back. They got Kershaw coming back. Embarrassment of riches for the Phillies and the Dodgers. But again, the Marlins play a good team tough. The bullpen was phenomenal. Jazzed up with a 2-run double in the second inning. There was not a run scored after the third inning in this game. Sanchez with the homer, Gordon the 2 RBIs. Commissioner Gordon. Commissioner. The bullpen again, lights out. The relievers. How do you spell relief? MARLINSBULLPEN. That's how you spell relief. Unbelievable. I love Tanner Scott, man. He hit a batter tonight, and I'm just like, man, I'm glad that wasn't me. This dude is filthy. Filthy. Right-handers, broken bats. Oh, he's just, he's in on your hands. I mean, as a hitter, it's just dirty, man. As a hitter facing a guy like Tanner Scott, you just, even you're fouling balls off and killing your hands because he's in on your hands and he's breaking bats and he's at the end of the bat and you're constantly hitting when he's tailing away and he's coming in. You're constantly hitting the ball on the bad parts of the bat. And what that means is, especially a wooden bat, right? A metal bat, you can hit one off the hands and hit it 500 feet. Well, I can't, and you can't probably, but they could. You know what I mean? Infielders would die if they used aluminum bats or graphite bats in Major League Baseball. Infielders would be dead if they did. Third baseman would die. It would happen. A pitcher would get killed. It would happen if major leaguers used aluminum bats. It would. So you have about this much room on the bat to really hit the ball, and I'm late getting to a break, but there's a sweet spot. That's why you see the bats taped for batting practice, so they can see where they're hitting the ball on the bat. You have that much room on a wooden bat. And Tanner Scott very rarely, if ever, lets you hit the ball on that part of the bat. And that, my friends, is what pitching is all about in Major League Baseball. You go up, down, you change speeds, you get people out in front, but you want to be in on the hands and at the end of the bat because that's where you get the lazy grounders, that's where you get the pop-ups and the bloopers, and that is where you get the broken bat outs. Aren't you glad you got educated there? Education from the U, baby. Shout out Alex Dono, killing it, Media Day with the ACC. Locked On Canes, Locked On Dolphins. The postcasts for football season are coming here on Locked On. When I come back on the other side, we talked about Jazz Sanchez Gordon, Commissioner Gordon, and the bullpen, Yangon, Yanni Chirinos, Game 2 tomorrow. How about we go into a little bit more of why your Miami Marlins have played so well against the better teams in Major League Baseball they've played this year. That'll be next on the other side. Locked On Marlins postcast. Jim GRIES, call me Grease, at Jim GRIES _ hang out. Be right back. Actually, I'm not going anywhere. Not yet, anyway. Not until I get on Booking.com and go Booking.yeah, because Locked On Marlins Postcast is brought to you by Booking.com. With summer travel already having heated up, especially travel for the baseball games, right? It's time to explore those U.S. cities you've always secretly wanted to learn more about. We talk about this all the time. Yes, we are talking about your rival cities. We're talking about Philly. We're talking about Atlanta, New York. Even though the Mets aren't the real New York team, but that's another story. And then, of course, Hotlanta, baby. You got great cities just in the division. You got some big ones coming up in August when you got to get out of South Florida in August, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But with hotels, bed and breakfasts, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com, you might just find your perfect stay, even in your baseball rival city. A fan heading to Boston. As a Yankee fan, you got to go eat some beans and some chowder, but you know what? It tastes good with that W. Anywhere you go, you're a Marlin fan, going to Atlanta, going to Philly, you're going to New York, you're going to Washington. So many great trips. Take the kids, have some fun. From hotels that look over stadiums to family-friendly resorts, Booking.com has so many choices across the U.S. for your summer travel this MLB season. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your rivals. Book today on Booking.com on the site or in the Booking.com app. I love sports, you guys know, right? I love them so much, I never want them to stop. But as it happens, they do every once in a while. The playoffs are gone in the NBA and the NHL. Fewer games, no football. The sports are not sportsing like I want them to, and I don't like it. But here's the cool part. Ready? FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want, All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right, there's something for everyone, every day, all summer long. So head on over to FanDuel.com, you know you want to, and start making the most out of your summer right now. It isn't just lemonade, baby. It is FanDuel.com, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN? I don't know why I was just doing that. On your TV all day, you have to turn down the volume, people shouting, people screaming. One of them just got canceled. See ya. Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team, and yours, and yours, and yours. You know, we got an imaginary live audience here. Why not? People have imaginary friends. I can have an imaginary live audience, right? I think it would be great. Actually, not imaginary. We have a live audience right now, and I am pumped because I wanted to talk to you about why the Marlins seem to always play so well against the better teams on their schedule, right? When you look at their record against the top-level teams in Major League Baseball, I don't have the exact number in front of me, and you might say, why not Grease? And I would say, you know what? You might be right there. But the win over the Orioles, it occurred to me during the first segment of the show. That's why I think about these things as we go, right? I mean, the brains are there. The Marlins do that. They make you think. They play hard. They run into a lot of outs, and they swing at a lot of bad pitches, but they're an aggressive team. They put pressure on their opponents. Their bullpen's awesome. They got a ton of starters coming back. I think they could have the best pitching staff in Major League Baseball next year. Yes, I said it. No, I didn't smoke crack. I think they could. I think they, look, Alcantara as an ace had Tommy John last year. Meyer, you know his history and what he could do. The prospect that he is. He could be a 20-game winner. Weathers, Luzardo having good years. They're coming back. Between Cabrera, Munoz, the kid who pitched today, what's his name? Tyler. They keep bringing up kids from AAA every day and sending other ones down. You don't even know who they are until they get here. But he pitched. He had 5 strikeouts in 4 2/3. I mean, he gave up 9 hits and 3 runs. Small technicality, but he did have 5 strikeouts. And the bullpen, again, 7 strikeouts in 4 1/3 innings, man. They are making a habit out of this, and Tanner Scott is just killing people, man. You could start building some cabins in the woods with all the bats he's breaking right now. And they'd be some pretty sturdy cabins, I will tell you that. But if you look at the Marlins this year and you look at what they've done and you look at the teams that they've played and the success that they beat the Orioles today, obviously that's a pretty good team. Number 2 in Major League Baseball. They're even ahead of the Yankees, right? The tone for this season got set when the Paul Skeens-less Pirates swept the Marlins to start the season. Then the Angels swept them. They lost 7 in a row at home to start the year. And then you go to St. Louis and lose your first 3 before you win a game. And who won that game? Meyer, right? Meyer. And Tanner Scott did not start the year well. And the bullpen guys took the losses in those games. Cronin and Puck and, Tanner Scott. Unbelievable. But, they were 1-3 or 1-2 against the Yankees. So they went 1-2 against the Yankees. They split with the Cubs. They got swept by the Braves. Where are we at? I'm looking for the Phillies. They got swept by the Dodgers. Okay, so they won 1 against the Phillies. They took 2 out of 3 from the Tigers, who were a good team. They took 2 out of 3 from first place Milwaukee. 2 out of 3 from Arizona, right in the thick of the wild card race. They beat San Diego. They beat a good Texas team. They can't beat Tampa Bay. Cleveland they beat 1 game. So they've beaten some good teams. They took 2 out of 3 from St. Louis. That St. Louis is nipping on Milwaukee's heels in the Central and the National League. So some good teams. And again, 2 out of 4. They split with Philly right before the break. I mean, you come back and the Red Sox just smoke you. Or not before the break, right when Harper and Schwarber got hurt. That 4-game series, the end of June. And even at Houston, they got swept. But they've played pretty well against some good teams this year, is my point. And throughout the year, you've seen that. They've played pretty well against some good teams, and I would expect it to continue. But a solid game. When your bullpen gives you what they gave you today, I mean, look, they ripped Suarez. That was a gift. They were able to do that. It's not going to happen in the next 2 games. The Orioles are undecided tomorrow, and then you get one of their big guns in Corbin Burns, who's 10-4 with a 2.38. 116 strikeouts in 124 innings against Roderick Munoz. God help us. God help us. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast 6-3. They double up the O's tonight. Quote, the Oriole nevermore. I know it's the Raven, but it's the same city. And who wants to hear from an Oriole anyway? I mean, really, you know what I'm saying? So 60-40 they are, though, and 30-18 on the road. They've been good. Marlins go to 36-65, 21-33, and La Casa. All right, here we go. Jim GRIEShaber, call me Grease. Locked On Marlins postcast 6-3, the final. My name is, I just said it, Jim GRIEShaber, call me Grease. Just making sure you're still awake. At Jim Grease _ on social media. Wrapping up the show on the other side, looking at game 2 tomorrow. The Orioles undecided. The Marlins going with Munoz, and then Munoz in the third game, rather. And tomorrow it will be, who is pitching tomorrow? I just looked at this too. Sorry, yeah, it's Cabrera. And Cabrera, he looked really good his last time out. He's one of those young arms. Sometimes you see a lot of, he had a 10 strikeout game earlier this year. Didn't strike anybody out, maybe one his last time out. But a battle of bullpens it became, a battle of wills it was. And, it was a 4-run second inning and a 2-run third for Miami. The Orioles scored all 3 of their runs in the first 3 innings, and the bullpen settled in, and that was it. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not even really any threats. You know what I'm saying? No real threats from that inning on. I mean, once the scoring was done, it was done. And you had 1, 2, 3 innings. And, Tyler with a 1, 2, 3, fourth and 2 strikeouts and a ground out. That was nice to see for him after, he settled in against a good team. And I think had he not been a little bit nervous from the jump, he'd have been even better. So I was pumped about that. But, no real threats. No real threats the rest of the game. I mean, you didn't really even have, you had Jazz Chisholm, a 2-out single, and stole second in the 6th, and De La Cruz flies out. A.J. Puck, 1, 2, 3. The Marlins bullpen was so good. Just 1, 2, 3 inning after 1, 2, 3 inning, and the game just going by so slowly. In fact, there wasn't even, was there even a base runner? Ground out fly. Let me see. When was the last base runner before Tanner Scott? I'm trying to remember. It was a while. It was the bottom of the 6th for the Marlins. Jazz singled and stole second. Everybody went 1, 2, 3 until the 9th when Tanner Scott hit Hayes with a pitch. So there you have it. Locked On Marlins postcast. I'm a little bit late for a break. Jim GRIEShaber, call me Grease. Going to wrap it up on the other side. Let you know what to expect for the rest of this series. Locked On Marlins postcast. Right here. Locked On Sports Miami and wherever you listen to your audio postcast and podcast for that matter. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. I just want to see if you're with me there, making sure you know where I'm going right now. Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more, pick less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks, 100 times your cash. With as little as 4 correct picks, you can turn $10 into 1,000. Get in on the excitement, win up to 100 times your money with the summer games on Prize Picks. You can turn $10 into 1,000 while watching Team USA rack up the gold medals this summer. You can make a Prize Picks lineup of players across hoops, soccer, tennis, golf, and more in as little as 60 seconds. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you are locked in, locked on, baby. If you're looking for promotions, You're locked on those too. Lowering select player stats projections on Tuesdays to help your lineup hit. Getting entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. Those and more for you with Prize Picks. They're available in more than 30 states across the country. California, Texas, Georgia, where the stinking rotten Braves are. You could booking.com and go see the Marlins there, right? Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, Prize Picks. Dun, 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 dun. A little housekeeping here, a little housekeeping there. This episode of Locked On Marlins POSTCAST brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yes. Yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your rivals. Check out Booking.com for your stay today, which, by the way, thank you for making Locked On Marlins POSTCAST your first listen every day. We're free, available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. That's right, man. Here we are. Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, wrapping it up on your Tuesday. First game, a success for the Marlins against the Baltimore Orioles. Be more coming in, man. That's a good squad. That's a really good team. Baltimore in first place in the American League East. They've been great all year long. Just hitting, pitching, been fantastic. I mean, they're a 60-win team. They're a 60-win team. The Yankees won today, by the way, beat the Mets. And so the Yankees are now only a game and a half behind the Mets. They're 60-42, and Baltimore is 60-39. There you have it, man. Did the Yankees win today, or are they still playing? No, they're playing they're losing. In the bottom of the ninth, 3-2, nobody out against the come on out and beat the Mets, which the Yankees are not doing. So I misspoke. But they will get a shot here in the bottom of the ninth with nobody out. And you got Grisham, and you got Soto, and you got Judge. And why is Aaron Judge 0 for 0? Have they walked him every time up? He must be walked every time up, Aaron Judge, in this game. Let's see. All rise. 4 walks for Aaron Judge in that Barry Bonds zone right now. Some of those Bond stats were crazy from the early 2000s, like his on-base percentage. If he struck out every time other than the time he walked, if he made an out, his on-base percentage still would have been higher than, like, A-Rod's career. It's crazy. Anyway, Marlins win, big one tonight, and that was great, right? The bullpen lights out again, and you're looking at the rundown up there. 6-3 they win. Jazz Chisholm, man, enjoy him while you got him. I have a sickly feeling in my stomach that he won't be here past the 30th. Maybe another week, maybe not, as he's been moved around from center to second and DH, and teams are showcasing or wanting him to be showcased, or the Marlins are showcasing him so they can get more from him. Either way, whatever way, whichever way, I wouldn't get too used to Jazz. And, you know, going from Miami to, say, New York with the Yankees in the middle of the summer, not a bad deal. You know, go for a couple months, come back to Miami at the end of the summer, not a bad deal. So, you know, it'll be all right for Jazz. I just don't think he's going to be here long. DLC could be gone. I just don't want to see him trade any pitchers. For good Lord's sake, don't trade Tanner Scott. He's a rental. Man, he would be amazing for a team that's looking for that #1 setup guy or a closer. But I can't picture anybody in baseball. Can you? Who would be better than Tanner Scott closing out games in MLB this year? Closers. Like, who's a better closer? Who's a better closer right now? Ryan Helsley, 32 saves. I mean, you got some guys who are really killing it right now. Emmanuel Clace, you know, you got Finnegan, Suarez. Kimbrel is always good, the O's closer. He's got 23 saves. Iglesias with the Braves, Holmes with the Yankees. And, of course, Jansen with the Red Sox has 19. Tanner Scott's got 17 now. That ties him with Kirby Yates and James MacArthur. But remember, he's on the Marlins. He hasn't had as many opportunities. He's got 17 saves, Tanner Scott does, in how many opportunities? How do you not put opportunities in here? How many? Oh, yeah, blown saves. There, we got it. Okay, so that is opportunities, Jim. Nice job. Yeah, so in 18 opportunities, 19 now, he has 17 saves. 2 blown saves. 32 with 2 blown saves for Helsley. He's been amazing. Suarez has also only blown 2. Iglesias 1 for Hader with the Astros. He's phenomenal. But Tanner Scott with a 1.27 ERA, the best in the majors for a closer, besides Kirby Yates, who's got 17 saves. He and Tanner Scott have both been great. Now, Tanner Scott is 6-5, which is crazy, right? So he's factored in a lot of decisions, a lot of close games late where he came in and either gave up the lead early in the year or he came into a lot of tie games or games where they're losing and he just gets nothing. So it is what it is, but that's it for Tanner Scott. It's been a great year for him. I'd take him over anybody right now, closer-wise in Major League Baseball. I would definitely take Tanner Scott. Tomorrow it'll be Edward Cabrera trying to shut down this lineup. Good luck to him, especially coming off a loss where they didn't score for the last 6 innings of the game. So, yeah, that's not a good deal for them. And Cabrera's 1-3 with a 7.36. Undecided for the O's. And then on Sunday, Munoz against Corbin Burns. So Cabrera and Munoz back-to-back for the Marlins to close out this series. And I am not really... Man, the White Sox are going to trade some people, too. It's not going to be a fun time. Who are the top guys that they're saying? Deadline buzz? No. I'm not seeing it. I'm just real quick thinking out loud. Dodgers, where are they? Are they still saying Jazz to the Yankees? Yeah, Tanner Scott or Kyle Finnegan. But, yeah, Clay Holmes has struggled a little bit for the Yankees. I don't know. We'll see. Deadline's coming. We'll have that as a big focus coming up on the shows here in the days ahead. We'll be here after every game. Again, tomorrow, 6:40 p.m., first pitch start. Cabrera against Undecided in that one. That's all there is, Fish fans. There is no more. Your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST presented by Booking.com. On today's show, my name's Jim GRIEShaber. Call me Grease. We're here after every Marlins game. We'll be here after the Dolphins, after the U football games, and after the Miami Heat basketball games as well. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. Football season coming. Fins and Canes looking good, baby. Can't wait. No one cares about Florida State or FSU. Not on this show. Anyway, it's Locked On Sports Miami. You know what I'm saying? I know we got a lot of Gators and Seminoles in Miami. Anyway, I will tell you this. I'm very glad you're here every day, especially you everydayers. I want to say thank you. Want to say good night. Thank you for watching Locked On Marlins POSTCAST. Keep your game tight and your mind right. Good night.